Hi, it's Sandy Grayson here at Ecosa Studios. We are celebrating Colorado Gives Day today, and I have, can you guess who I have here? The Denver Philharmonic. So exciting. So I have Valerie Clausen, who's the executive director.
That's right.
And Catherine Thayer, who's the concert master.
Yes.
Which sounds very important.
I hope so.
And Catherine's going to play for us a little bit, but first, I just want to find out, let me just tell everybody exactly what I found out about the Denver Philharmonic. Celebrating 65 years.
That's right.
That's amazing. Founded in 1948 by Denver businessman Antonia Brico. Is that right?
It's a Denver businessman
orchestra
founded by Antonia Brico, who was one of the first female conductors ever of an orchestra.
Wow.
Yeah, really exciting.
So Antonia, that's right. That's a female, not a man. Okay. And then they said the two major issues driving the orchestra were the need for affordable classical music concerts in Denver, and I love this, need for an organization that would nurture, develop, and showcase the talents of classically trained musicians, many of whom had relocated to Denver following World War II.
That's right. That's right. And in fact, you know, that's still our basic mission to provide affordable, high-quality classical music to Metro Denver, and to give an opportunity for players like Catherine, and vast majority of the rest of our musicians to perform for an audience, classical music. So, yeah.
And we talked a little bit, can you tell everybody what the difference is between the community orchestra and a professional orchestra?
Well, a community orchestra is made up primarily of volunteers. The vast majority of our musicians are volunteers. They work a day job and then they go to rehearsal for 2.5 hours once a week, sometimes twice a week, and perform in a concert on a Friday night typically. And so they are not what you consider to be a professional musician, but some of them are professionally trained, some are not. Some might have studied music all the way through school and on into university and then gone to their real jobs and then play in an orchestra like ours. We also do have some musicians who were professional musicians with orchestras and now they play with us. So.
And we also have a lot of people that studied music in school, but they're now mostly teaching. A lot of them public school, younger children, but this is their opportunity to be a performer, which is what they studied to do and what they always want to do, but they're also working full-time as teachers.
Yeah, when you're teaching, you don't get to play as much.
Yeah. So this is a wonderful outlet for all these people that were trained professionally and have many of them college degrees in music, but this is their opportunity to be a performer, not just a teacher.
And we're led by a professional music director, Adam Flatt, who is also the music director of the Colorado Ballet and some other orchestras around the country. But we're very fortunate to have him. He's an excellent music director, conductor, and puts together very innovative and interesting programs for us to play.
Yeah. Now you're not just the executive director, you play too.
I do. I'm in the second violin section.
That's so cool. Yeah. I mean, I don't play really. I play a little guitar, but I am not a musician, and so I'm just amazed at the talent.
You know, our organization is primarily run by people who play in the orchestra. We love it and are so passionate about it. We actually have no paid administrative staff at all. So any donations that you might make today on Colorado Gives Day go directly toward critical items like the hall rental, the music purchase or rental, you know, just something as small as a light for us to read our music, that kind of thing. Maybe a little bit of printing costs, but we have hardly any administrative type costs. It's all directly to the music to perform for Metro Denver.
That's very cool. And how long have you been with it?
About 9 years. Wow. Since about a year after I moved to Denver.
Nice. And how about you, Catherine?
8 years as concertmaster. Yes.
And so what does it mean to be concertmaster?
It's the first chair, first violin, and that means you're in charge really of all the string sections, the first and second violin section, the violas, the cellos, and the basses. And you set the bowings and give some instruction. We also divide into small groups and you work with your group on the difficult sections so that by the time the concert comes, everybody knows what's happening and can do it well.
Wow.
Another big difference between a community orchestra, at least our community orchestra, and maybe the professional orchestra, is the intimacy that you get when you come to a concert by the Denver Philharmonic. It's a much smaller venue, seats about 500 people, and we find that our patrons love that about what we do. They feel really part of the orchestra because they're so close. We have a reception afterwards where musicians go down and there's punch and cookies, and you can just mingle with the musicians and get to know them. We greet everybody at the door. We have really quick interaction with our patrons who might have an issue. Actually, just today, we've been promoting Colorado Gives a Day quite a bit, so that means a few more emails than we typically send out in email blasts. And so I got somebody who decided not to continue receiving our email blasts today, and she indicated the reason why was because it was too many email blasts. So I saw that and I immediately emailed her and said, I completely understand. We can offer you paper flyers instead. You'll get them once a month through the U.S. Postal Service instead. We really appreciate you being a patron, because I knew from her name that she was a patron. And then she replied back to me saying, we think you guys are fantastic. It's just too many emails from you, so if I can do that other thing, that's fine. But that's just the personal rapport that we have with all of our patrons that just makes it more sort of, your orchestra. We're your neighbors. We are you.
And the fact that you get to sit 10 feet away from the orchestra if you would like to, and meet the guest artist afterwards, talk with them personally. That never happens anywhere else.
Right. Yeah. Well, just the fact that I'm meeting you, I feel like when I come to see you play, you have that connection. Like we know each other, and oh look, you're rooting them on, rooting
Absolutely, because you know that every musician who's there is doing it just for the love of playing, because they're certainly not getting paid for it. In fact, they're paying gas money to come and play. And some people come from quite far away to play with us. Really? We have people, one of our musicians comes from Fort Collins. Wow. That's over an hour drive to come down and play with us. Someone's coming from Boulder.
And what's the time commitment for someone that's involved?
So we have rehearsals throughout the concert season, which is sort of from September to May. Almost once a week we have rehearsals. We put on 6 concerts a season. And that's essentially it. We have 2 rehearsals sometimes a week, but and then the concert.
Yeah.
Yep. So
and you said you have guest artists that come.
Yes, there's always a soloist, almost always. And we also have a young artist competition.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we saw a little bit of that in the film. Tell us about that, the concerto competition.
Concerto competition. Concerto is a piece that you perform with an orchestra, which is very unusual to get that opportunity as a young person. And so every year we have a competition. It changes year to year. Sometimes this year was piano, last year voice, the year before I believe woodwinds and percussion, and before that violin, and then they'll start or string instruments. And so every 4 years, 5 years, it'll come back to the first one. And we always have more than one winner, so there's usually a junior senior category, so you're not shut out just because you're young. If you're young and talented and present well, then you have every opportunity of performing with the orchestra. And in addition to performing, we also like to have a master class at the final auditions, so that even if you're not chosen to be the performer, you get the opportunity to get input from specialists in your area. And so everybody who makes it to the finals, and that's usually 12, 15 young people, get a chance to work with a professional in their area and get pointers for next year.
And what does that mean to a young artist to be able to perform with?
Well, they're pretty excited.
Yeah.
It's incredibly rare to be able to perform with an orchestra.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, so it's a huge learning opportunity for them. And
And then they also have that on their resume. When they're applying to college or grad school.
And for our audience, it's fantastic. They get to see these amazing young musicians perform. We have 2 pianists performing with us this March, a 12-year-old and I believe a 16-year-old. And they're going to be phenomenal. Something else I'm really excited about is we're going to have our first ever Twitter concert. coming up February 1st.
Okay.
So
what's the Twitter concert all about?
Well, we're all about engaging our audience in classical music because, the more that they feel engaged, the more they're going to want to come. And so we're testing this out, first time. I don't think anyone else in Colorado has done it.
I'm not sure anybody anywhere has ever done it.
So we're going to have a section of the hall that's set aside for people who would like to Twitter during the concert. And what that means is, and let me just back up by saying our hall is not dark. The lights are on just because of this old church that we play in. We've played in for 50 years or 49 years. We can't turn off all the lights and make it work. So there's not going to be the glow that's going to be disturbing anybody from the devices, your iPhone or your Android or your iPad. And then we'll have somebody backstage or sitting with them, not quite sure yet, but they're going to be doing sort of real-time concert notes. So, or if you will, some people come to a pre-concert talk that we give, so you get information about the music you're about to hear. If you can't make it to that, or you prefer to get your information in a written form, well, you'll be able to see that as the music is being played. So they'll be able to explain why the piece is a certain way or what to look for in the piece, or if a particular musician might have a solo coming up, maybe a little biographical information about that musician, just some background music on orchestras in general, you name it. And then the concert goer will have the opportunity to interact with other concert goers who are twittering, all being very quiet, of course, because we definitely want to respect the people who want to just sit there and just be in the moment of the music, and there are, most of the audience is that way. So, but that's just one of the kinds of things that we're trying to do to help continue to make classical music relevant for maybe the younger generation or even the older generation. Right. Kind of like me, who really likes to be on their devices.
Will you allow people to maybe do a little short video and then tweet it out during the concert so people can hear and be in the
Great idea. Maybe we'll do
Photos.
That, Sandy. Yes. As long as there's no noise associated with it. We're going to have little etiquette sheets on the chairs so that people know what the rules are. But yeah.
I can be part of your Twitter concert. I can help that. I'll be in the audience helping the Twitter.
Excellent. Feed, yes. That would be fantastic. February 1st. Yep.
So I really want to hear Catherine play, but you also mentioned that you got this wonderful letter from someone that came to one of your concerts, and I'd love for you to read that.
Oh, sure. So our first concert of the season, we had a group of students from Rocky Vista University College of Osteopathic Medicine. They were in touch with me. They'd come to concerts last season, and students are pretty poor, and we definitely understand that. We have a great student rate of $10 a ticket, but still that was a little bit more than what they felt they could afford. And also there was a huge group of them, 35, who came to the concert. And so one of them wrote a note after the concert to express what it meant to her to be able to come. And it's really what we're all about. And to be honest, we never turn anybody away. If you can't afford to come to our concert, we're happy to comp you tickets. But like any symphony, any sort of arts organization, nonprofit, you do need money to keep going. Sure. Tickets account for 35% of our costs, so we have to make that up in other ways. Okay. So she wrote, her name is Danielle. I was in attendance at your season opera tonight. What a spectacular evening. I wanted to thank you personally for cutting Rocky Vista University students a break on our tickets. We med students live our daily lives under all kinds of anxieties, academic and financial, not the least of them. Music is a very precious gift, and you made that gift to us both in your performance and with our discounted tickets. For a couple of hours tonight, I forgot about the exam I took this morning, and I forgot about the exam I will take this coming Wednesday, and I was no longer a scientist or a student, but instead a participant and a recipient of something beautiful and rare. Very serious healing took place in my soul in those hours. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your energy and dedication really came through, and make no mistake, it had a profound and lasting effect.
Oh, see, I told you I'm not going to be able to get through one interview without feeling like I'm going to cry. That's great. I mean, that is what music is all about, is bringing people together and moving your soul and feeling connected. Beautiful, wonderful. I'd love for Catherine to show us a little bit of her master.
I would like to play the jig from the Bach Partita number 3 in E major.
She's going to play a jig.
It won't be like
it's not going to be like the jig from Alabama, where I'm from, right?
But she could play that too.
I'm sure she could. Yay! Aw, thank you so much. That's wonderful, wonderful. My daughter, Haley, if you're watching, look how fabulous you can be if you keep practicing. So just before we go, can you tell us a little bit about what Colorado Gives Day means for the Denver Philharmonic?
Well, it means a lot. The money that we receive helps us to do what we've been doing for the past 65 years for the community. Helps us to maintain the program, helps us to do the Young Artists competition each year. That does cost us some money to put on, and you know, allows us to continue to provide this affordable classical music to Metro Denver. And I don't know, we're just really grateful for all that Colorado Gives Day you know, provides to the community. I think even if were you going to say no? Even if even if you don't give to our organization, just, you know, people taking part in something like this, a communal effort, kind of reflects what we do as an orchestra. You know, just in the microcosm of what Colorado Gives Day is all about. Just this whole idea of community coming together is what Colorado Gives Day is all about.
Yeah, we'd like you to consider it your orchestra.
Yeah.
Okay. And give where you live is perfect.
It is.
Perfect thing to say, and we'd like to be your orchestra in your city.
Well, you are my orchestra.
Yay!
For sure. Tell us your website so we can make sure everybody goes.
Very easy, www.denverphilharmonic.org.
Okay, perfect. Denver Philharmonic. Thank you so much, Valerie and Catherine, for taking the time to come and play for us and tell us all about what you're doing. And I will be sure to go on your website and donate and also come and see you.
Well, we really appreciate that.
I'm excited. I will.
Yeah, come talk to us.
I will definitely.
Oh, we have an exciting Christmas concert coming up on the 14th.
Yes,
and children are more than welcome.
Yeah, we always have lots of kids in the audience.
Oh,
there'll be Christmas carols and sing-alongs in the second half, so at classical.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Denver, December 14th, Denver Philharmonic. Christmas, that sounds fabulous.
Yeah.
Thanks again for watching Icosa Studios coverage of Colorado Gives Day. Thanks to the Denver Philharmonic for being here. We hope you'll stick around and join our celebration. Make sure you can click the link that says join the celebration that we're having here in the studios right after we have a few more great interviews lined up for you. This is Sandy Grayson. Stick around.